Star Trek: The Next Generation, 1987 to 1994, captured the hearts of fans worldwide with its visionary storytelling, rich characters, and groundbreaking exploration of the future. Over its 7 seasons, the show became an iconic part of the Star Trek universe. However, as the years have passed, many of the beloved actors who brought these characters to life have sadly passed away. In this video, we honor the memory of the stars from Star Trek, TNG who are no longer with us, reflecting on their remarkable careers, their unforgettable roles, and the lasting legacies they left behind in the world of science fiction. Mel Barrett was born on February 23, 1932, and joined Star Trek: The Next Generation in 1987 at the age of 55, lending her voice to the ship's omnipresent computer and portraying the flamboyant Lwaxana Troi. While Lwaxana was a comedic and emotionally driven character masking deep insecurity with theatrical bravado, Barrett's real-life persona had far sharper edges. Her long-term affair with Gene Roddenberry began while he was still married, sparking accusations of nepotism that followed her throughout her career. When she was cast as the original Star Trek First Officer, Number 1, in the unaired pilot, many saw it not as merit-based but as Roddenberry's attempt to solidify her place in the franchise. Behind the scenes, her domineering attitude alienated several cast members, and whispers circulated about her backdoor influence in production decisions. After Roddenberry's death, Barrett took control of his estate and legacy with a grip some called ruthless, cutting ties with former collaborators she deemed disloyal. She died of leukemia on December 18, 2008, at the age of 76. Patty Asutaki was born on September 6, 1953, and first appeared in Star Trek: The Next Generation in 1990 at the age of 37 as Nurse Alyssa Ogawa. The character was quiet, diligent, and deeply loyal, a model officer. But Asutaki's life outside the screen was far from serene. Despite her calm demeanor, she endured decades in Hollywood's margins, often subjected to racially biased casting that pigeonholed her into submissive roles. She was married briefly in the early 1990s, but the relationship ended abruptly amid rumors of emotional abuse, which she never publicly addressed. Her later years were marked by growing reclusiveness and rumored struggles with chronic depression, exacerbated by the industry's persistent disregard for Asian American actresses. Though never embroiled in scandal, insiders say she resented the franchise that became her identity while offering little career advancement. Patty Asutaki died on August 5, 2024, from a rare form of T-cell lymphoma, aged 70, largely forgotten by the mainstream press. Tony Todd, born December 4, 1954, was 36 when he joined Star Trek: The Next Generation in 1990 as the brooding and conflicted Ken. Ken's internal battles between loyalty and dishonor mirrored aspects of Todd's private life. Though celebrated for his role as the iconic Candyman, Todd lived in the shadows of personal loss and emotional volatility. His 1990s romance with a younger actress ended in scandal after she accused him of psychological manipulation, claims that were never formally litigated but lingered in the press. Behind his professional polish was a man known for fierce outbursts on set and a reluctance to rehearse, citing spontaneity but frustrating colleagues. He rejected studio demands and turned down major roles over creative disputes, earning a reputation for being difficult. In interviews, he hinted at unresolved family traumas and a long-standing estrangement from his only child. Todd died quietly on November 6, 2024, at age 69, from a prolonged illness, leaving behind a legacy both haunting and fiercely enigmatic. Andr Catsulas, born May 18, 1946, took on the role of the enigmatic Romulan commander Tarbach in 1989 at age 43. Cold and calculating, Tarbach represented the deceptive brilliance of Romulan politics, and Catsulas embodied it with unnerving ease. But off-camera, Catsulas was a man divided, a classically trained actor who loathed Hollywood's superficiality. he spent years battling inner demons, including alcohol abuse during his early career and a series of volatile relationships that ended in bitter legal feuds. Despite finding cult fame with roles like Carr in Babylon 5, he often clashed with producers, accusing them of creative cowardice, leading to rumors of blacklisting. His second marriage collapsed in the late 1990s under allegations of infidelity and emotional neglect. Though beloved by fans, Catsulas was known to be caustic with co-workers and struggled to balance his theatrical aspirations with a genre he secretly scorned. He died on February 13, 2006, of lung cancer, aged 59, ironically, from the smoking addiction he once joked made his voice perfect for villains. Barbara March was born on October 9, 1953, and was 38 when she appeared in 1991 as Lursa, one of the treacherous Duras sisters, ambitious, cutthroat, and commanding. The role gave March a cult following, but it also marked the peak of her screen career. A classically trained Shakespearean actress, she harbored a deep contempt for television acting, which she saw as artistically inferior. Her marriage to actor Alan Scarfe was passionate but turbulent, with close friends reporting prolonged separations and artistic jealousy. She attempted to launch a solo play in the late 1990s, which failed critically and left her financially strained. Whispers persisted that March's intense perfectionism made her nearly impossible to direct. She was known to storm off stage mid-performance if she felt a scene was beneath her. Though never publicly disgraced, her erratic behavior kept her at arm's length from many in the industry. Barbara March died of cancer on August 11, 2019, aged 65, with her talent recognized but her career tragically underrealized. Richard Lynch was born on February 12, 1940, and at 53 he appeared in The Next Generation as the mercenary Arctis Baron in 1993. Baron, a brutal and paranoid leader, was a fitting role for Lynch, whose face bore the literal scars of a shocking real-life episode. In 1967, while high on PCP, Lynch set himself ablaze in Central Park, a moment of madness that left his body and soul forever altered. After extensive recovery, he re-entered the world as a villainous icon, typecast by his own injuries. But beneath the career revival lay a man haunted by mental illness and past addiction. Though he remained sober in later years, whispers of paranoia and erratic behavior followed him through B-movie sets and convention circuits. Divorces, estranged friendships, and a reclusive final decade defined his twilight. When he was found dead on June 19, 2012, aged 72, no one had heard from him in days. The cause was natural, but the silence spoke louder than any obituary. Leonard Nimoy was born on March 26, 1931, and returned as Spock in Star Trek: The Next Generation in 1991 at age 60. Spock, forever torn between cold logic and turbulent emotion, remains one of science fiction's most enduring characters. But behind the stoic Vulcan exterior, Nimoy was plagued by a duality not unlike his creations. His 1975 book I Am Not Spock sparked outrage, seen by fans as a betrayal, despite Nimoy's later clarification and reconciliation in I Am Spock, 1995. Behind the scenes, Nimoy battled alcoholism for years, quietly attending rehab in the early 80s while masking his struggles with the cool persona of Spock. His first marriage dissolved amid rumors of infidelity and emotional distance, and his children have spoken of a complicated, sometimes absent father. As he aged, he withdrew more from the public, suffering from COPD that he linked to his years of chain-smoking during filming. On February 27, 2015, Nimoy died at age 83, a legend whose real-life contradictions mirrored the character he brought to life. Georgia Brown, born October 21, 1933, portrayed Helena Rosenko, Worf's adoptive mother, in 1990 at age 57. On screen, she radiated maternal warmth and a deep humanity. But her personal life was tangled with turmoil. A celebrated voice on the London stage, Brown was no stranger to backstage rivalries and explosive affairs. Her long-term relationship with composer Lionel Barrett ended in acrimony, with Brown accusing him of financial manipulation and emotional abuse. She struggled with clinical depression for decades, and despite her critical acclaim, she was often overlooked for major roles in favor of more conventional beauties. Her appearance on Star Trek was both a return and a farewell, as she was already battling ovarian cancer. She remained defiant, yet friends described her final months as lonely and embittered by the industry's neglect. Georgia Brown died on July 5, 1992, at 58, a talent lost too soon, her legacy overshadowed by a life that never quite matched her early promise. George Murdoch was born on June 25, 1930, and appeared in The Best of Both Worlds in 1990 at age 60, commanding the screen as Admiral Hanson. His stern, patriarchal demeanor was no act. Off-screen, Murdoch had a reputation for being controlling and fiercely temperamental. While prolific, he was known among castmates for explosive temper tantrums and an unrelenting demand for respect, often to the detriment of younger actors. Rumors of inappropriate comments and verbal harassment followed him on multiple sets, though no official complaints ever stuck. His role as God in Star Trek V was marred by production tensions, and he reportedly clashed repeatedly with William Shatner over script changes. Despite being a sought-after voice in film and television, Murdoch's abrasive personality cost him roles in the late 90s. He died of cancer on April 30, 2012, at 81, leaving behind a mixed legacy, respected, but remembered as difficult and domineering. William Boyette was born on January 3, 1927, and took on the role of Lieutenant Dan Bell in 1988 at the age of 61. His character mirrored his signature style, stern, obedient, and bound by duty. Boyette was a fixture in 1960s law enforcement TV but became embittered after being passed over for major film roles, reportedly due to his unwillingness to network or play the game. Though known for his Navy service and TV professionalism, his personal life was less polished. Boyette's first marriage dissolved amid quiet rumors of infidelity and domineering control. His adult daughter later revealed years of estrangement, citing emotional absence and obsession with career over family. Behind the scenes, Boyette was allegedly difficult with directors who questioned his authority figure typecasting. He died on December 29, 2004, at age 77, from complications of pneumonia and kidney failure. Though his passing went without public scandal, the tensions and regrets in his personal legacy lingered. Charles Cooper was born on August 11, 1926, and played the role of Klingon Chancellor Kopek in 1990 at the age of 64. Kopek was a weary but calculating leader, attempting to maintain order within a collapsing Klingon power structure. Cooper's portrayal conveyed both dignity and deep exhaustion, setting the tone for Klingon succession politics. Though hailed for his Shakespearean presence, Cooper's later career was marked by frustration, typecast in heavy, often alien roles that offered little personal visibility. Offstage, he endured a deeply strained relationship with his only son, who publicly accused him of emotional neglect and controlling behavior. Friends described Cooper as reclusive in later years, consumed by regrets and bitterness over missed opportunities. Industry whispers hinted at a volatile temperament, especially toward younger co-stars. He died on November 29, 2013, in Los Angeles at age 87. The cause of death was never publicly disclosed, sparking speculation and mystery among fans and colleagues alike. Alan Scarfe was born on June 8, 1946, and portrayed Admiral Mendak in 1991 at the age of 45. Mendak was a sly Romulan diplomat, his soft tone belying the menace beneath. Scarfe embodied this subtlety with an intellectual chill, drawing on his classical background. Despite acclaim in theater, his Hollywood journey faltered. He was quietly removed from several productions due to creative disagreements, code for a fiercely critical ego that clashed with producers. He and wife Barbara March had a stormy marriage, plagued by long artistic separations and rumored affairs. Their son distanced himself, citing their intensity and theatrical chaos. Scarfe's passion for atheism and anti-religious activism cost him industry friends, and he often alienated collaborators with unsolicited philosophical rants. He died from colon cancer on April 28, 2024, at age 77. Though revered in elite acting circles, his sharp tongue and uncompromising ideals left him a lonely figure near the end. David Warner was born on July 29, 1941, and played Ghoul Modrade in 1992 at the age of 51. Modrade, the sadistic Cardassian interrogator from the Unforgettable There Are Four Lights arc, became one of Trek's most terrifying villains. Warner delivered a cold brilliance rooted in personal chaos. Though admired for roles in Titanic and The Omen, Warner's career was marred by nervous breakdowns, leading to vanished contracts and whispered blacklists in the 80s. His first marriage ended in scandal when his wife accused him of psychological abuse, and Warner himself admitted to long battles with depression and prescription drug dependency. He was reclusive, preferring late-night walks and obsessive journaling to human connection. Close friends said he pushed everyone away, including his children. Despite attempts at recovery, he relapsed in his 70s. He died on July 24, 2022, from a cancer-related illness, just days before his 81st birthday, estranged from most of his family. Malachi Throne was born on December 1, 1928, and played the role of Senator Pardek in 1991's Unification at age 63. Pardek, a Romulan politician who betrays Spock's peace efforts, was a role Throne delivered with charismatic deceit. A seasoned actor, Throne's golden years were riddled with bitterness. He felt perpetually overlooked for larger roles, claiming casting bias against his distinct appearance. Behind the grandeur was a man haunted by personal demons. His first wife filed for divorce citing emotional cruelty and obsessive paranoia, and his second marriage ended when his spouse accused him of professional sabotage. He was infamous for aggressively pushing younger actors out of scenes during rehearsals. Throne battled chronic illness for years while continuing to perform, sometimes collapsing backstage. He died from lung cancer on March 13, 2013, aged 84. Though he commanded respect on stage, off stage, he carried the weight of estranged children and broken alliances. Richard Hurd was born on September 26, 1932, and appeared as the dignified Klingon Laker in 1993 at age 61. Laker was noble, weary of war, and stood as a relic of Klingon honor in a changing galaxy, a role that Hurd played with unexpected pathos. But despite his screen gravitas, Hurd's career was littered with behind-the-scenes tension. His departure from V was abrupt, rumored to involve creative clashes with producers, and his later casting in Seinfeld came after a bitter legal dispute over residuals from another project. Off-screen, Hurd struggled with rage issues and was said to have alienated multiple agents due to his erratic temperament. His first marriage collapsed after accusations of infidelity and emotional manipulation. Though he later found stability, the scars of broken relationships haunted his later years. His military past lent him public respect, but friends noted the toll of suppressed trauma from the Korean War. He died from complications of cancer on May 26, 2020, at the age of 87. Pamela Kosh was born on October 1, 1928, and appeared as Jessel in 1992 at the age of 64. Though her role was minor, she radiated maternal grace that resonated with longtime fans. Kosh's legacy extended beyond Trek. She broke ground as a stage director when few women dared. But her private world told a different story. Her longtime partner, a fellow actor, died by suicide in the 1980s, a loss she never emotionally recovered from. Colleagues said she became withdrawn, even paranoid, and during the late 90s she was involved in a bitter lawsuit with a theater company that accused her of financial misconduct and artistic sabotage. She denied all charges, but the case stained her reputation. Rumors also circulated about her alleged affair with a high-profile, married producer, which haunted her for decades. She died in Burbank on May 4, 2022, at the age of 93. Though her name faded, the emotional toll of her unresolved grief never did. Mike Hagerty was born on May 10, 1954, and played the Klingon Captain Larg in 1991 at age 37. In the episode, Larg was brutish and aggressive, embodying the raw, warlike side of Klingon culture. Hagerty's short appearance was marked by a gruff realism that added depth to the scene. Though best known for his working-class characters and comedies, Hagerty's career was marked by missed chances at breakout stardom. Cast often as the lovable oaf, he was rarely given serious material, and one notable failed pilot in the 90s reportedly drove him into a quiet depression. Behind his warm public persona, Hagerty struggled with long-term health issues and financial instability, stemming partly from poor business decisions and misplaced trust in managers. There were whispered tensions on sets. Some co-stars complained of his passive-aggressive on-set behavior and inconsistent preparation. Though no major scandals ever emerged, insiders spoke of his growing bitterness over being typecast. He died on May 5, 2022, at 67, after a seizure caused by a reaction to antibiotics for a leg infection. Stephen Lee was born on November 11, 1955, and first appeared as Chorgan in 1989 at the age of 38, later returning in 1993. Chorgan was a rebel leader, blunt, aggressive, yet oddly vulnerable, a role that fit Lee's knack for playing eccentric misfits. Lee's career seemed solid, but behind the scenes, it was plagued by instability. Despite over 90 TV credits, he rarely lasted long on any set. Directors whispered about his volatility and alleged pill addiction. He was reportedly blacklisted from at least 2 network shows for unprofessional conduct, including a blow-up on set that led to a police escort. His private life was similarly chaotic, multiple broken engagements, a restraining order filed by a former partner, and rumors of gambling debts he refused to acknowledge. Though never charged, there were murmurs of inappropriate behavior that shadowed his career. He died from a heart attack on August 14, 2014, at the age of 58, alone, and largely forgotten by the industry he once peppered with color. John Neville, born May 2, 1925, played Isaac Newton in 1993 at age 68, stoic, cerebral, and steeped in enigma. That portrayal belied a complicated personal life far removed from the dignified intellect he often depicted. Neville's transition from British theatre royalty to North American TV was rocky. Though praised on stage, he clashed constantly with producers in Canada over artistic control, leading to a quiet blackballing in elite theatre circles. He had several unexplained withdrawals from high-profile productions, rumored to be linked to mental health episodes exacerbated by chronic insomnia and paranoia. His marriage, though long-standing, was shadowed by speculation about emotional estrangement and brief separations. In private, Neville maintained a strict double life, high culture by day, and late-night bar haunts that concerned his friends. Alzheimer's later stripped away the mask, but insiders said the actor never truly let anyone in. He died on November 19, 2011, at age 86, his mind long lost to the disease that slowly erased his brilliant contradictions. Marta Duboce was born on December 15, 1952 and played Ardra in 1991 at the age of 39. Ardra, the seductive con artist who posed as a demonic myth, was magnetic and cunning, an eerie reflection of Duboce's own off-screen charisma and contradictions. Though she became a fan favorite for the role, her career never truly soared beyond TV guest appearances and cable movie leads. Duboce struggled with typecasting, often cast for her exotic looks and roles that required sensuality over substance. Off-camera, Her personal life was turbulent. She had a string of toxic relationships, including a controversial romance with a married producer that ended in public humiliation. Rumors swirled of a secret breakdown in the mid-2000s and a long battle with alcoholism that forced a retreat from the industry. Despite her polished exterior, close friends admitted she struggled with self-worth and a sense of fading relevance. She died on May 8, 2018 at 65 from a brain aneurysm, alone in her California home. Stephen Hawking, born January 8, 1942, made history playing himself in Star Trek, TNG at age 51 in 1993, a moment both surreal and symbolic. But Hawking's life, far from the sanitized genius image, was filled with turbulence. While married to his first wife Jane, the strain of fame and illness fractured their bond, culminating in a messy separation. His second marriage to his nurse Elaine Mason was shrouded in controversy. Multiple staff members and family friends accused her of physical and emotional abuse, some alleging that Hawking himself showed signs of injuries. Though police investigated, he refused to press charges, fueling speculation and dark whispers. Even professionally, he clashed with other physicists over theories he sometimes revised dramatically, and critics accused him of playing to pop culture more than scientific rigor. A complex mix of brilliance, ego, and vulnerability, he remained untouchable yet opaque. He died on March 14, 2018, at age 76, from complications of ALS, still surrounded by speculation and mystery. George Coe was born on May 10, 1929 and played Chancellor Durkin in 1991 at the age of 62. Durkin, a head of state wrestling with the idea of alien contact, reflected Coe's real-life intellect and complexity. Though his resume included everything from Kramer vs. Kramer to voicing Woodhouse and Archer, Coe was frequently sidelined in favor of flashier performers. His brief stint as an original SNL cast member ended in quiet dismissal, which he rarely discussed. Some speculated creative clashes and alcohol-fueled outbursts played a role. Behind the scenes, Coe's personal life was marked by loneliness and failed relationships, including a clandestine affair with a younger stage actress that imploded amid accusations of manipulation. Chronic illness and financial stress shadowed his later years, forcing him to take bit parts to survive. While he kept a refined public persona, there were whispers of intense mood swings and a gambling habit that strained his reputation. He died on July 18, 2015, aged 86, from lymphoma. Bruce French was born on July 4, 1945 and portrayed Sabin Jeanstra in 1991 at the age of 46. Jeanstra was a loyal yet morally torn officer, blindly serving Admiral Satie in a witch hunt that mirrored real-world authoritarian paranoia. French delivered the role with quiet power, but his career never reached leading man heights. Despite over 150 credits, he was often typecast: priests, judges, men in uniform, roles that masked a deeper frustration over unfulfilled ambitions. Though he cultivated a disciplined image, his personal life was marked by growing estrangement from his children, especially after a bitter custody battle in the late 1980s. PTSD from Vietnam haunted him silently for decades, contributing to episodes of volatility and depressive isolation. While there were no public scandals, insiders whispered about his control issues during theater productions, allegedly driving away younger co-stars. He died on February 7, 2025 at age 79 from complications of Alzheimer's disease, after spending his final years in a care facility, mostly forgotten by Hollywood. Stefan Girash was born on February 5, 1926 and portrayed Dr. Hal Mosley in 1991 at age 65. The character was minor, but Girash was a veteran of Carrie, Jeremiah Johnson, and dozens of acclaimed dramas. Despite his range, he never found lasting fame and quietly harbored resentment toward the industry that pigeonholed him. Behind his gentlemanly appearance was a darker story. He struggled with chronic depression and substance abuse during the 1970s, even briefly entering rehab after a breakdown during a Broadway run. His marriage, long considered stable, fell apart amid rumors of infidelity and a deeply private conflict involving his daughter's estrangement after a public falling out. Girash was blacklisted by some casting agents for being difficult after allegedly berating a producer during a 1993 pilot shoot. Though he kept his demons hidden behind professionalism, those close to him knew a man plagued by anxiety and artistic dissatisfaction. He died on September 6, 2014 at the age of 88 from a stroke. Barbara Tarbach was born on January 15, 1942 and portrayed Governor Leka Tryon in 1991 at the age of 49. Tryon was a composed, authoritative leader, qualities Tarbach often projected on screen. But her own life was far less stable. Though known for General Hospital and American Horror Story, Tarbach battled personal tragedy for years. Her only daughter died young after a battle with ALS, an event that nearly derailed her emotionally and professionally. Friends recall her frequent disappearances from sets and teaching duties at UCLA, and though never publicized, she quietly fought a prescription pill dependency during the late 2000s. Her marriage reportedly endured infidelity and emotional distance, and she once admitted in a rare interview that acting became an escape from unbearable things. Though her colleagues respected her intellect, she was also described as intense, exacting, and prone to sudden outbursts. She died on December 26, 2016 at age 74 from Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, after a swift and tragic neurological decline. Who is your favorite character in Star Trek: The Next Generation? How do you feel knowing that the actors have passed away? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss future videos. Thank you so much.